All right, welcome back to the channel. So Deontay Wilder reacts to the loss with Tyson Fury, says, gives Tyson Fury his credit and says, look, I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Very good fight this weekend. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder by 11th round knockout. Like 5 knockdowns in the fight. 3 knockdowns by Tyson Fury. 2 knockdowns. Deontay Wilder knocked Tyson Fury down 2 times. Tyson Fury showed that he is just a very gritty, an excellent heavyweight, man. And honestly, man, I've got to agree with what Malik Scott said after this fight, man. I really do believe that inside that ring, Tyson Fury proved that he's a great heavyweight. One of the best heavyweights that I've seen, and the guy definitely deserves credit for that. Deontay Wilder said that, he didn't know what, he said that he did his best. He didn't know exactly what, he didn't know what happened in the fight, in that, he didn't know exactly what he should have done differently to try to win the fight. I suppose that's what he means. But he says, look, man, I did my best and my best wasn't good enough. And I appreciate that out of Deontay Wilder, man. That is an honest answer. There are a lot of people, that are getting on Deontay Wilder about not showing enough sportsmanship right after the fight is over and saying congratulations to Tyson Fury. But look, man, I'm not going to put that on that man. That is a lot of, he was under a lot of pressure, man. This guy is trying to win the heavyweight championship, man. He's in front of a guy that is just, man, pretty much can do everything in a boxing ring as far as heavyweight goes. He's huge. The man's 6'9", 270 pounds. Guy can fight on the inside, man. He can really rough you up on the inside. You knock him down, the man's going to get back up. It's just, Deontay Wilder was in there against a guy and trying to overcome something that I don't think any other heavyweight in the world right now can do. And I'm going to be quite honest, man. I don't know if there's a lot of heavyweights that I've seen in my life that could overcome that guy, Tyson Fury. He's really is a very good boxer. Now, I'm not going to take away anything that I said about him being on performance-enhancing drugs before, or them gloves flopping around in the second rings. And yeah, he's wearing horsehair gloves and all that. But look, man, that is not, at this point in time, man, you just got to get the man his credit. He's proved that he was more than just, a trick here and there that allowed him to win that fight. If Tyson Fury was not a real, game fighter and a real fighter, he wouldn't have got up from them 2 knockdowns. Pretty much got up, got up off the ground and started fighting again, man. Did not let it affect him. Kept on pushing through, and you got to give a dude like that his credit. At least I have to as a boxing fan, man, because if I didn't get that man that credit, I honestly don't think I can consider myself a boxing fan. Now, Deontay Wilder on the other side, man, I think that he really should have proved in this fight to himself and to anybody else that watches him that is a real champion. And he, by a lot of people, have been giving him his credit, a lot more credit in his defeat than they were giving him in his victories, because Deontay Wilder has absolutely nothing to be ashamed of about in that performance. I've said this before, and I said it in the lead into the fight, man. When you see a fight like a Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, and that, man, honestly, man, that was a lot like it. It was that level of a fight, man. Tyson Fury did not just do what people said he was going to do, was walk in there and walk through Deontay Wilder. People were saying there's nothing Deontay Wilder that could do to change his game up, and I think they proved him wrong there. It just didn't matter what he changed his game to. Tyson Fury is just he's just a better fighter, right? But Deontay Wilder proved that he's a real champion, and I hope that now people can give him his credit as he moves forward in his career. If he decides to move in his career, forward in his career, or not. I'm sure that he will, though. I don't think he's the type of dude that's, a quitter. And he's also proven and over again, especially in this fight, that dude is one of the top heavyweights, if not the number 2 heavyweight in the world. We'll see whether or not Tyson Fury actually gets the Anthony Joshua fight and the Usyk fight. I'm still hesitant on that particular matchup being made. But right now, honestly, man, I don't think Eddie Hearn really can even avoid it at this point in time. But as far as Deontay Wilder's, response to it, And also Malik, his trainer Malik Scott's, take on the fight, what I thought was really excellent. He was like, look, man, this is just, Tyson Fury. He said that he was a very, very good fighter, thought he even could be a great fighter. Malik Scott said, no, at this point in time, man, he's just going to call that man a great fighter. And Deontay Wilder's a great fighter. He's a great fighter, but Tyson Fury is just a greater fighter than Deontay Wilder is. And there should be no shame in that for Deontay Wilder. If you fight a guy that nobody else can beat and you give everything you can give in that ring, I think that he should be credited for that. Even in things like where you talk about, what happened with Mark Breland, I can now see why Mark Breland, I still, as far as the water and all that stuff, we'll leave all that stuff alone, in this video and probably much in the future too, man. It's all wrapped up now. So no need to continue to go over that. However, even the thing with Mark Breland where Deontay Wilder was really, really upset that Mark Breland didn't let that man go out on a shield. I'm telling you, this fight right here shows why Deontay Wilder was very serious about that. That he was a type of guy that if he's going to go out there and fight a guy and he's going to try to really knock this dude out and really hurt this guy, he proved that he was also somebody that was willing to get up again and again and again and fight and not quit and try to give it back to the other guy, just like he was giving it to him. So, Deontay Wilder's response to this video, I absolutely appreciate. Malik Scott's response to it, I appreciate. Tyson Fury's response, I appreciate too, man. He was on the fight. He was, after the fight talking about how, the shot that he hit Deontay Wilder with could really end a career. And I agree, man. It was a vicious, he hit him with that right hook. He hit him with a left hook. And then as he tipped over to the left, he hit him with this, loaded up on this right hook, man, and knocked him out. He was right. He said, but at the same time, he said, look, man, and I took a lot of punishment in that. We both took a lot of punishment in that fight. So he gave his credit, and he's always, while in the midst of him talking a lot of smack, always did give Deontay Wilder credit as being a very, very dangerous fighter and the second best heavyweight behind him. And hey, look, man, when the truth bears out of what a man says, you got to give that man credit. Tyson Fury is definitely the greatest heavyweight of his era. I also liked how Tyson Fury didn't get into the trap of saying that he was greater than any heavyweight that ever existed and all that. At least, in his conversations where he's being serious after the fight, he didn't do that. He said, look, I'm the best fighter in my era. Now, quite honestly, he still has to prove that because he's got to beat Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk drummed Anthony Joshua, and Alexander Usyk holds 3 of the major belts, so they're going to have to make that fight for Tyson Fury to prove that all the way out. But with the tremendous size difference between the two of them and Deontay and Tyson Fury's ability just to box from the outside and not even have to really engage with that length from Alexander Usyk, I think he'd pull that fight out too. But anyway, man, keep on talking with this boxing. It was a loss, man, that I saw coming out of I saw the loss coming. It was not that hard to see. That's why I didn't make a prediction for the fight, but I'm riding with Deontay Wilder the whole way. I'm still going to ride with Deontay Wilder. I want to see the man back, and honestly, man, I think he showed a lot of improvement between the last two fights, and provided he doesn't have, excessive amount of damage to him, he could actually come back and be a lot better fighter now that he knows how to fight on the inside, and I still think he'll beat any of the other heavyweights out there. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section, and with that, I'm out. Peace.